Today is September the 13th, 2022, and we're calling the meeting to order at about 8:45. Well, let's go 8:45. Proper notice has been given as required under the Ohio Revised Code 121.22. I'd like to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and as always, we'd like those individuals that have served our country to lead us in the pledge. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible. And as always, for those that have served and are serving, we thank you so much for your service. Moving on the agenda, the board meeting minutes from August the 19th and August the 30th of 2022 have all been reviewed by if there are any changes or amendments, were there any?
I've seen none. After reviewing them, I would move that we approve the board meeting minutes from the August 19th and the August 30th meeting.
I second that.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. Next on the agenda, voting registration anomalies. Ms. Poland?
Yes, Madam Chair, as what previously reported to the board, the organization Black Fork Strategies has been conducting voter registration drives in Hamilton County for the last several months. We received notice from Black Fork Strategies that they believed one of their employees may have falsified voter registration cards, and Black Fork Strategies identified those voter registration cards. The board instructed staff to issue a subpoena to that employee. The board staff did so. We have confirmation from the sheriff's office that the subpoena was served on the employee's residence on August 29th. But that individual is not here, and we have not received, staff has not received any word from that person. We served the subpoena on the address that was given to us by Black Fork Strategies, and that's the same address that this particular person is registered to vote. There were several hundred registration cards that were flagged as possibly being fraudulent. Staff did a review of 20 of those. We did not process those registration forms, but we did a review, and none of that information contained on the registration forms for those 20 individuals matched the Bureau of Motor Vehicles information. And we have a summary of that in your packet. The original registration cards are in front of the chair.
So out of the, we assessed 20 out of the stack, and they all were no matches from what I can see. No match on an existing voter, period, name, date of birth, or address. And then signature as well as some. Any more discussion?
Yeah, Madam Chair, are you looking for guidance in terms of next steps?
Yes, looking for guidance in terms of next steps as far as the particular individual, along with the registration forms. We were hoping that if the individual appeared before the board that circulated these registration forms, it might give us, some guidance on how to proceed with the forms.
I think at this point we just send them over to the prosecutor's office for further review. If there was something we would have heard from the subpoenaed target, that's different. Again, their call as to whether or not it's a crime. Our call is just to do our part, and I don't know what else we can do. So I'll make a motion that we just send all of this evidence over to the prosecutor's office for further review.
Second.
And I agree, the individuals received their subpoena and has chosen for some reason not to appear, and I agree. So all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. Thank you. Next is appointment of the precinct election officials.
Yes, in your packet, you have a list of precinct election officials that staff recommends for appointment. The board is required to appoint precinct election officials every year in September. We just ask that the board give staff the authority to fill vacancies as they arise.
I was about to say, I mean, we're full already?
No, we do have vacancies.
So, you want us to approve this list and then make a second motion to allow you to do it on your own?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So I'll start then with a motion to appoint the election officials for the November 8th, 2022 general election that are listed in the packet. So I'll begin with that motion.
I second that.
And I'd also like to say that we as the board members are also diligently trying to get the word out so that we can get some of these positions replaced as well. So it's an ongoing process. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries.
My second motion around precinct election officials then will be to authorize the director and deputy director to work with staff and authorize them to fill in any additional last-minute spots, any spots from now until Election Day as precinct election officials.
Second.
And I would just like to comment, as always, making certain that the individuals you select, which you've been very good and diligent at doing, are qualified and have, if they've worked with us before, have a good working record. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. Okay. Next is the discussion on the August 2022 primary election anomaly report.
Yes, Madam Chair, if the board recalls, there were 11 voters in the August primary election who cast 2 ballots. In all of those instances, only 1 ballot was counted. The board had directed staff to contact those voters. The deputy director and I did that. For the vast majority of these voters, we did not have good phone numbers on file, so we sent a letter to those voters. All but 3 responded to staff. If it's the pleasure of the board, we can take these one at a time and go down the list if you'd like.
Can I just ask one blanket question?
Yeah.
Of the 3 people, of the people who you had a chance to speak to, did any cause either the director or the deputy to have any additional concerns, or not to put you on the spot, or were you satisfied their explanation was credible?
We were satisfied that their answer was credible. There was a lot of confusion over the 2 primary
Right.
elections.
Well, but I don't know that I need necessarily, personally, I don't need to hear about each one of those people. I would trust the director and deputy's judgment on that question, and then maybe just a suggestion to keep it moving, that we consider the other ones. But
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree, and, and again, the initial ones that responded, it's clear, I mean, they weren't the only ones by far who were confused about all of these different primaries and et cetera. And so, let's focus on the others.
Yes, and then we're just 3 voters, number 4, 6, and 11. We mailed letters to those voters on September 2nd, requesting those voters contact either the deputy director or myself on or before September 12th. And we have not heard from those voters.
I'm, at this point, given the dare I call it an anomaly that we had in August primary the way we did, and that there's not a widespread trend that we've noticed, and that the folks who we've talked to have all provided a credible explanation, my view is that no further action is necessary.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I agree as well. All those in favor? Aye.
Is that a motion?
That wasn't a motion.
Comment.
I'm sorry, I thought
wasn't
you
a
was
motion.
making the motion.
Is that relative to the 3 that failed to respond as well, or for the 9 that?
I say so.
I too was lumping in the 3, just to,
Okay, well, you made your motion.
I actually didn't.
He hasn't.
I guess I'll make a motion then that no further action be taken with the anomalous.
Does it require a motion?
Yeah, so then I won't make it, I'll withdraw any.
Well, I'd just for the record, I disagree with the fact that three people who have failed to respond to us should not be reviewed further, but the will of the board is the will of the board, so that's fine.
Very good.
I don't have any further questions. I'm okay with that.
Okay. Next item?
Next item. It's the charter, certification for the charter and discussion for the charter amendment for the November 2022 general election.
Yes, we've had one charter amendment filed since the board last met. That is City of Cincinnati Charter Amendment. Issue numbers have now been released, so it's issue number 11. Staff recommends certification.
And it came in a timely manner, correct?
It did. It did, the day before the filing deadline.
I'll move approval of what has been marked as issue 11 for the city of Cincinnati. I'll move approval to the ballot of that issue.
I second that.
And it's a charter amendment type of levy emergency is what it's saying, right? Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. Next, are the election administration policies. These are all, I think we had some discussion about this in our last meeting, just trying to review or put in place what we are doing, because our actions the words speak louder than the action. So we had to put the action in the words. Am I correct?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct. We are adopting policies based on practices that have been in place for many years. The latest edition of the Secretary of State's Election Officials Manual requires the board to pass or adopt policies regarding certain election topics. The deputy director and I have drafted these policies. Note, your stray mark policy obviously has been in effect since 2008, but we did make a revision to it. And then these policies have been reviewed by our legal counsel and then circulated to the board late last week. I do want to note it's our plan to create an election administration policy manual. So all of these policies will be included in that manual. We're about halfway there. Staff still has to draft about another 10 or so policies. Our goal is to have that done and legal review done before your next board meeting in October.
Okay.
You mean a separate Hamilton County policy manual?
Correct.
Okay, versus, okay.
Correct. We are putting together, we have our election administration policies.
Right.
We have our plan, which is the election administration plan, and then we have our procedures.
I've reviewed these, and I'd like to add one verbiage, and that would be that all of the policies are one page, but I would like to see one of one, or page one of one.
Yes, we will do that. We will
Okay.
do that when we put this all together in the manual next month.
Okay.
Sherry, my only question is, the one I jumped out at, I just wanted to look at real carefully, was the stray mark policy, because that's one we've all have dealt with before.
Yes.
I appreciate you highlighting in red the change. Why the change? Clarify it more, is that basically all?
Right, to clarify it more, when this policy was adopted, during the early voting period, voters that appear in person to vote did not scan their ballots, right?
Now we're putting them in.
Right, and now they're scanning them. So that's why this wouldn't apply to voters who cast their ballot early in person, because they'll receive notice from the scanner if they overvote a contest.
Got it.
And I'd also like to add, regarding that ballot stray mark policy, I want to commend you all, because at the bottom, you clearly indicated that it was adopted back in March 2008, and then you put the revision date as today, which is good. And that was one of the other things I was looking at for any policy that we've already had, that if it is changed or revised, that we document that. So that was very good from my perspective.
Thank you, and we'll continue to do that with the next set of policies that we present to you next month.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
One more second here, I'm sorry.
That's okay. As he's processing this, do we need to, on these policies, since these are new, and we're gonna be creating a policy manual, do we need to have anywhere on there, if you could just check, we don't have to respond today, who, like, that you and Alex have signed off on them or authorized them?
Yeah, we can look into that.
Look into that, just to.
If we vote on them today, won't it say it as adopted by the board?
It's
on-
board policy.
Yeah, as of September 13th.
Oh,
Would that
that
be
would be
sufficient?
sufficient.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would add, that's our practice with our personnel policy manual, is the first page has the board signatures on it,
Okay.
reflecting the vote of the board when it
Okay.
adopted those policies.
Okay. That was the only other thing that I was trying to determine, how we legitimized it, that it's gone through all of these channels and finally gotten to us and that we approve it.
I'd like my picture on the cover of ours, too. Anyway, with humor aside, bad humor aside, I'll move approval of the election administration policies 1 through 9 as given to us in our board packet.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. I had a comment, but I don't think I better say it.
Yes, yeah. We're on TV, don't forget.
Next is resolution. We have a resolution authorizing mail sorting system service agreement.
Yes, this is for our Agilis system that we use to process the return of the absentee ballots. The board purchased this system back in 2012. We renewed the service agreement in 2018. That agreement's expiring at the end of the month. So this would authorize the deputy director and I to negotiate and execute a contract to continue that service agreement.
Got it. How's that machine coming along? Is it okay?
It is coming along. It is aging.
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of a first generation a piece of equipment. We implemented in 2012. So, you know, as part of the negotiations, we're looking at doing maybe a 1-year term with some renewal options, so that, you know, in the near future, we might want to start seeing what else is out there.
Got it. All right, with that, I'll move adoption of resolution number 22-005.
I second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. And
Resolution 22.
any other business?
So, Madam Chair, on the other business section, it would appear that the board received an email this morning, actually, at 5:23 a.m., Sherry, is that correct?
Correct.
And it is regarding a motion for reconsideration as it relates to our decision, our ruling on a write-in candidate who filed on the day of the write-in deadline. All of these things make me think that this could be potentially, could lead to potential litigation, and the letter, the email, certainly makes lots of reference to various legal terms and legal terminology. Again, I believe that this could be the area where we could face litigation. So given that, I'll make a motion that we go into executive session to consult with our legal counsel confidentially regarding the possibility of litigation on this question.
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman Carmen?
Yes.
Mr. Transfeger?
Aye.
Mr. Gerhart?
Aye.
Aye. We're going into executive session.
Chip and I couldn't figure it out, but Sherry could. That's a metaphor. Okay, so I'll move that we come out of
Roll call.
I'll move
Yes.
that we come out of executive session.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Roll
Anyone?
call the roll, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
At this point, having conferred with legal counsel, I will make a motion that we not further reconsider our previous decision on the question before us.
I second that.
Any more? Oops, excuse me. Excuse me. Oh. I had it off. Here, somebody take this thing.
Confiscated.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That motion carries. I was trying to check my phone to see if Kenny from the Secretary of State's office had any comments for the meeting today, because he's normally here. And obviously, we can't do that right now. So is there any other business?
Madam Chair, Kenny did send a text and notify us that he was at another board's meeting this morning, so he was unable to attend.
Yeah, I know he's always done that. you know.
Yes, they
Thank
have a
you.
new board member joining them, so
Okay, well, thank you.
he went to that meeting.
Any other business?
Just wanted to note that the absentee applications for vote by mail are coming in at a very fast pace. So Jeremy Jamar and his team, and really the whole board, is pitching in to process those applications and stay on top of them. So 2018 was a record-breaking midterm. We're on pace to break the turnout record for 2018 right now.
Wow.
Board of Elections trending up.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the deputy director and I last night hosted a behind-the-ballot tour for our Girl Scouts, as we annually do. I think it was a success. And actually, we had so many troops sign up that we had to schedule a second tour for next week, next Monday.
Fantastic.
And then last week, we also hosted a tour for our candidates. We invited all candidates or their campaigns to come for a tour, all candidates involved in the November election, and we had a pretty good turnout for that, too.
Fantastic. That's what, I think those are great examples of working with the community and educating the community about basically how we work here, what the flow is like, if they have any questions, especially when they're out themselves in the community addressing different community members. Gives them a better understanding and a deeper understanding of what we do here, and that we are open, fair, and transparent with everything that we do.
What about an open call for the general public? You know, just saying, hey, we have a certain amount of people we can allow to come through and do a tour when it's not busy. You know, do a tour for the general public.
You
About that.
want to go ahead, Alex?
Yeah, I think, we've put this program together several times now, and we are open to any group of people that want to do it. We need about 20 people to make it, worth the time. But it's something we want to be doing a lot more of, because it is extremely helpful for any member of the public to get behind the scenes here and see the work that we do. So I think the call is out there. And,
Oh, I can help
as-
advertise it for you.
As we enhance our community engagement programs over the next year, I think we'll be shopping it around.
And also, just as we are conducting those tours, we know there are areas that you cannot allow the public to be in. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. We take them back to the vote counting room. We show them through the glass. We don't actually
Good.
take them into the vote counting room.
Okay.
But of course, they are escorted by elections officials throughout the whole tour. So.
Thank you. I just want to make sure we're doing that, which I knew we were. Okay. Anything else?
Not from staff.
Okay. Nothing from staff? Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed or abstaining? That motion carries, and none but the devil would do that to us today. Thank you.
Thank you.